In Nigeria, majority of cities are fast becoming homes to scores of individuals due to influx, rapid growing population, and rapid urbanization, among other factors. With this trend, there has been an increase in the demand for houses across the country. The housing deficit crisis in Nigeria has worsened in recent times. Nigeria's housing deficit currently stands at between 17 to 22 million units. In order to bridge the gap, 700,000 houses would need to be built every year over the next 20 years. However, less than 100,000 a year are built. With a population of approximately 197 million, coupled with high demand in housing units, both in quantity and quality, there is a need to seriously address the issue of housing deficits in Nigeria. Welcome to Housing Development, your go-to source for housing trending information in Nigeria and beyond. As always, I am your housing diva, Flora Ane. Over to our news desk. I'll be back shortly.
I'm Ugochukwu. The space of land grabbing has assumed a worrisome dimension, leading to untold hardship for genuine landowners, thereby defacing the original master plan of the Federal Capital Territory. This was the submission of the President, the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, Dr. Ugochukwu, who clearly stated the position of his association.
The Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, has been drawn to online publication with respect to land grabbing syndicate in the Federal Capital Territory. These are people that encroach on lands that do not belong to them with impunity by carrying out construction activities. Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, has zero tolerance for land grabbers and racketeers. The need to maintain Abuja Master Plan is our code of conduct and ethics.
He stated that most of those found culpable in the acts related to land grabbing and racketeering seemed resolved on circumventing the code of membership of REDAN, dissociating REDAN from criminal activities of rogue elements in the business of property development. Dr. Ugochukwu gave a word of advice to developers and members of the public.
Anyone who is interested in getting land shall procure it genuinely by approaching the government or the owners and not encroach on land which is not legally acquired. Accredited members found to be involved in any mess transaction will be brought to book, as we shall not harbor or condone any land grabber or racketeer in REDAN.
The Executive Director, Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, Festus Adebayo, has urged the incoming administration to prioritize housing for Nigerian youths as a solution to stop the exodus of young intellectuals to foreign countries. This was as he revealed that a radical strategy must be implemented in order to reduce the number of homeless people in the country through mass housing programs. In a statement made available to journalists, the housing experts noted that shelter is critical to the economic growth and development of a nation due to its impact on major macroeconomic indicators such as employment, savings, investments, and labor and productivity, and must be given utmost priority. He argued that shelter provision must not be reduced to political stunts, but with a commitment to improving the welfare of citizens by implementing resilient and decent housing initiatives for the youths. The Surveyor General of the Federation, Abdulganiyu Adeyemi Adebomi, has expressed concerns over some practices prevalent in the built environment. While stating that the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation has the mandate to produce maps, he gave a stern warning to those he said are not authorized to engage in map production, threatening to arrest and prosecute them. He said when the authorities fail in the discharge of their responsibilities, the country is, at best, postponing their evil day, a situation, he said, should bother the entire nation. He said whenever a borehole is drilled, the critical thing ought to be to replenish the earth with another substance, particularly if such a borehole project fails. He warned, however, that indiscriminate sinking of borehole distorts the ecosystem, adding that it is worrisome that some people still believe Nigeria is not prone to earthquake. Following the collapse of a 7-story building under construction on First Avenue in the Banana Island area of Lagos State, the state government has ordered all development projects in the Eyebrow area be placed on hold. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, in a statement on Thursday said the process was to ensure that a comprehensive audit was done by officials of the Lagos State Building Control Agency. He explained that the directive was to enable the government determine the number of buildings being constructed without approval in the Eyebrow area and to know if all the approved buildings were being built in line with the approval limits provided.
For more housing, construction and finance news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Housing cost is likely that expense that takes a huge percentage of your income, either monthly or annually. What are Nigerians saying about the cost of housing? How affordable are the houses being built in the country today? Let's find out on Voices on the Street.
Looking at the construction industry right now and looking at what we have, I don't think that is on ground. Government have to provide because they have government has all it takes to provide this house for us. Because there is a system they can put in place to make it more easier for the common man to occupy, to own a house in the city.
No, when you talk about affordable housing in Abuja, you cannot compare that because housing are not affordable in Abuja. Because compared to other places, it's very expensive. You know, a first timer or a newcomer here in Abuja will find it very difficult to live in. Because if you don't have a family member or you don't have a friend where you can squat with for a while, or you get a job in a very good place where your employer can house you. That's the only reason why you can come into Abuja as a first timer and be able to stay. Housing is not affordable here in Abuja at all, and the government is not doing anything to cushion the effect, and that is the painful aspect of it. We have a government who knows the problem of the people, especially in Abuja, and yet they are not cushioning the effect. They're not doing anything to make it work for the people. Housing in Abuja is very expensive. An average civil servant cannot even afford a house in Abuja, in a decent place.
This Abuja housing issues has been there for long. If you look at the way the cost of renting the house, and even just forget about the purchasing itself, just renting. It's not, to my own personal opinion, there is lack of proper regulation. It is not been well regulated by so-called government official whatsoever, you understand? So, looking at the number of people living here in Abuja, coming from various locations, you can understand that something needs to be done very fast.
My own take is that housing in Abuja is becoming something else. It's no longer, like somebody said, one time minister said Abuja is not meant for everybody. You know, son, which is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate statement. The house in Abuja is unaffordable. It's out of reach of ordinary Nigerian, and something must be done towards that. Especially, God helping us to get a government that have the capacity, have the character, have the capability, and again the compassion.
So when you also talk of even people that are renting, every day landlord increasing houses and so on, and government not doing anything about it. So it's a very big problem in the nation today.
Anyway, my idea of affordable housing depends on the particular environment and state. Like, for example, in Abuja where I stay, I think if housing should come down, depending on the area, like moderate housing, like in a FCT capital, if it's within 400,000, not like now that it's millions, it can be called affordable. It will not tear one's pocket because we have so many other things doing with our capital or money.
You've heard it all from some Nigerians. Housing is widely recognized as a human right, yet Nigerians' low-income households in particular struggle when it comes to finding adequate shelter that does not leave them in financial difficulty. Generally, affordable housing deals with housing solutions that are priced and financed in a way that ensures low-income occupants can also satisfy their other basic needs. I'll be back in a moment.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
We don't have road. And you see, at times, if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dead on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You see a toilet, you will still up to 30 tenants. They are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much. The police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
Welcome back. A 7-story building under construction recently collapsed in Banana Island, Ikoyi area of Lagos State. The incident, which happened on Wednesday, has generated a lot of questions that needs to be answered. Before I move further, let's have a look at how the building went down. That is Banana Island in Lagos State, a highbrow area. The island is the most expensive place in Nigeria and one of the most expensive in Africa to own a house. Why did this building, still under construction, collapse? At this point, I'll be handing over to Uyi Agbomofegbe as he takes Festus Adebayo on this matter.
It's a delight to have Festus Adebayo, who is the Executive Director, Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, with me on the program. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, Uye. I'm happy to be here.
I know I'm not as bothered as you when it comes to the issues around building collapse in our country. The one that happened on the island in Lagos now, the Banana Island, is one too many, as they'll say. What has been your concern since this news broke?
The issue of building collapse is a very serious challenge to Nigerian construction industry. On Sunday, last week, a building collapsed in Kwara State, capital, that is Ilorin. And 3 deaths were recorded at that incident. Just yesterday again, another one happened in Lagos, not in Agege, Not in Ojuelegba, where we have old houses. But this time around, at the corridor, or where the billionaires are living. It's a sad story. Banana Island, because of land per square meter, in that location alone, it's not less than 1.3 or 1.4 million. And so imagine somebody who had the capacity to buy a land in that kind of location. So what would have happened to that building? And why did that building collapse? Is it that he used substandard materials? Who are the people that are involved? We are asking, who is the developer? Which company is involved in the construction? And so the information we got from Lagos State government is very embarrassing. I cannot even understand what is going on in Lagos. The other time, there was Osborne. Before that time, we have had many cases. And in fact, from the reports, from the building collapse group, they reported that in the last 10, 15 years, the number of cases of collapsed building, about 550. Lagos has over 330, over 50%. So what is going on in Lagos? What is going on in Lagos? Is this how we're going to continue to have collapse of building? The other time the commissioner was removed, they brought in another commissioner. And look at the kind of reports they gave to us. That is 7-story building unapproved. I can't understand that. How can somebody build a house from 1st story, 2nd story, 3rd to the 7th story? And the ministry that is responsible is saying unapproved. What happened? Who is in charge of that area among the staff? Where are the regulators of building control? Are they just only controlling huge amount of money for building approvals? Collecting huge amount of money for testing of building materials in the laboratory? What is going on? I call on the governor of Lagos State, who has been a part of investigation team on this kind of matter in the past before he became a governor, to show a political will to arrest this issue of building collapse. We can't continue like this. It's an embarrassment. In the last report from the panel that investigated the Osborne case, the committee came out with 28 recommendations that I read. 26 was accepted. Recommendation was accepted by the state government. How far has the state government implemented those 26 recommendations? I can remember very well that among the 26 recommendations is that the state government should engage the services of private sector accredited certifiers, so that will be working in collaboration with the Ministry of Physical Planning. In fact, the state governments, the ministry also issued a statement that a truck hit the pole and then we can't even just understand. It's an embarrassment on our sector. This kind of attitude will surely have an implication. What's wrong with us? In other countries, you can see 30-story, 20-story. It's not that our people cannot build it. It is because there is corruption. The people that are supposed to be doing enforcement to protect lives are now doing enforcement to empower themselves, to get money to their pockets. That's not right. Doing testing for laboratory building material, you pay. Everything is payment. I'm calling this government of Lagos State to please rise up. We cannot continue like this. The government should be to protect life and not to waste life.
I think that was a fine place to leave. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Because I've been talking with someone who have spent over 2 decades following the construction industry in this country, and he has spent some of his time shedding light on the challenges we're up against as far as building collapses are concerned. in Nigeria, and we hope that going forward, government, especially agencies saddled with responsibility of checkmating this monster, will do their bit, and then this will be something behind us. I've been talking with Festus Adebayo, Executive Director, Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN. I'm Agmafwegwe. Thank you for watching.
At this point, I will say that the housing regulatory agencies in Lagos State should wake up and do the needful. This is one building collapse too many in Lagos State. Over now to AIHS. I'll be back in a moment.
When the flagship Abuja International Housing Show took off over a decade ago, the expectations were high, and so were the standards, prompting both skeptics and interested stakeholders to wonder how such a show, a first of its kind, will be able to achieve its lofty dreams of making drastic impact in the already tough Nigerian housing and construction sectors. So far, so good. The expectations were not only met, but the show has absolutely carved a permanent niche for itself and has established a platform for both public and private sector stakeholders to draw inspiration in addressing sector-related problems in Nigeria and even on the continent. Let's take a look at some of the outstanding achievements of the show over these years. This will enable all stakeholders to measure the show's success and build their confidence. The establishment of land GIS in states. In the course of debates that were initiated by the show, one of the top recommendations for state governments to adopt in addressing the issues relating to land was the establishment of Land Geographical Information System, LGIS. So far, this has been adopted by most states in Nigeria, and it has enabled them create a comprehensive data on lands and its allocation. Establishment of state ministries of housing. Prior to when the show started, most state governments had not realized the need to establish a designated ministry for housing. Stakeholders on the show were able to convince most states on the need to establish this ministry, given that housing is a very critical sector that cannot be left in the hands of the federal government alone.
Abuja Housing Show is where new thinking, new ideas were being cooked, where paradigms are being shifted, where capacities are being built, where talents and new thinkings are being showcased, where new products are being showcased. It connects the demand side to the supply side, and it's not just a trade fair where you go to buy. You also buy not only material things, you get knowledge, because people do come all over the world to share their best practices. So best practices were shared, and people always leave the trade fair always enriched, always better. About 3-4 years ago, I made it compulsory for all my master students to participate in the fair. If they don't participate, then they cannot say that they have enriched program. If it's good for me, it's good for my students, it's good for all Nigerians. You have what you want. Are you looking for new ideas, new ways of doing what you have been doing and not getting results? Come, you will see someone who has tried new thinking and has gotten results. You want to enter into the market and you are just a novice, you want to learn. Come, you will have clear mind after the housing fair. So I'm really encouraging us that block those days. Block it in your calendar and really come there. You will be blessed. You did.
Abuja Housing Show is a unique platform. It's literally the one place where you can get the best minds in Nigerian real estate coming together and sharing ideas, and you can get all the information you need under one roof. And something we've been part of for a while, and we intend to continue being part of it. And we're looking forward to the one happening this July.
I've always liked the idea of Abuja International Housing Show. I've always supported AITS. I see it as a unique platform to network, to learn, and to share experiences.
Abuja International Housing Show has been the baby of hydroform. Since inception, I can tell you that we have never missed one. So we at hydroform endorses Abuja Housing Show, and we recommend it to the general public. And we are using this platform to say you are going to miss a lot if you don't show up.
That is it on Housing Development Program today. Thanks for watching. Always know that there is more to look forward to on housing development. So keep it at same time next week. I remain your housing diva, Flora Arnie. See you soon.